Hey everybody, thank you for joining us for today's episode of Real Estate Disruptors. Today we got Elijah Rubin with Win and Young Millionaire Society, and he's here to share how he sold over 750 properties for more than $250 million in sales volume. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Steve Train, broker and owner of Stunning Homes Realty and co-founder of the OfferFast app, the one app you need for wholesaling, and I help people become real estate entrepreneurs. If you're excited for today's show, please give me some waves, give me some thumbs up, and before we get started, I started this show because I wanted to get back to our community. I've struggled before. You were telling me you started this 14 years ago. I'm sure there was some struggles along the way.
Yeah.
And we want to shortcut that struggle for as many young leaders as possible. So I don't charge a dime for this show. I don't make any money doing this. So here's all I ask. Here's the cost to you. If you get value out of the show, please tell a friend. Either tag a friend below, share this episode right now, or tell them your best takeaway from today's episode. That way we can all grow together. Don't forget, this is a live show, so please post your questions for Elijah to answer. And are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we'll start real simple. What got you into wholesaling?
What got me into real estate wholesaling? Well, we go back many decades ago. This is back in 2004. My sister was working for an ex-football player. His name, and at the time, I worked at every call center in Arizona at one time, right? And so I remember that he was during the off season, he was collecting money from his football buddies, and he would buy properties at the auctions. So I just got done reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm all gurued up. I'm ready to do something with the entrepreneur side. And my sister introduced me because my mom is from Trinidad, and his wife was from Trinidad. So she introduced me to him. I started buying properties, looking for property deals, and he introduced me to the whole world of you could buy properties, auctions, start wholesaling deals. Didn't quite know how to do wholesaling, as he was paying me $1,000 to buy a property at the auctions. Long story short, bought the first one after like 4 or 5 months, and after I did that first one, oh my goodness, I started reading everything I can about it, really locking in, and then probably about 2 months after that, he stopped answering the phone. He stopped taking the calls. I mean, completely ex-girlfriend treat me. It's just ghost me, right? I'm like, because my sister got fired because I guess the older Trinidadian didn't like the younger Trinidadian being around anymore. Yeah. So I got fired, and so at that time,
by association.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm a guy. What do you mean? So I thought it was gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Wasn't fine. So I end up finding. Back in the day, I used to take the Arizona Republic newspaper, and every Sunday I used to circle the for sale by owners, and they used to be like 6-7 pages. And so from there I went and got I circled, that's how I created leads, got a hold of one person, this lady in East Valley, and I went back down to the auctions where I outbidded a couple investors. I'm like, if I find a deal, can I bring it to you? Not quite understand the whole dynamics of wholesaling, but I got one lady who said agreed to sell, and she decided to she said she was willing to sell it. Called my investor. He said he was willing to buy it, and got that first deal done. And after that, is lights out.
So you're tying up for sale by owners.
Yeah, first
selling
one
them to investors.
That's the first one, East Valley.
This was 2005-ish.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of 2004, beginning 2005. Yeah.
Wow. So there were still opportunities on for sale by owners.
Yeah, because everybody during that time, the market's going up and up and up. Yeah. So people are just waiting for. Everybody thought they could sell it on their own. We don't need a realtor. So hey, I negotiated it.
Yeah. Okay. So you had that rise 2005, but then obviously things took a shift at some point.
Yes. And so before I got into doing sales, I did during high school I was doing concert promotions. And so when I was doing club promotions, I used to have a street team. So the street team, I had like 15 guys passing out flyers, and so you pass out 10,000 flyers, you might have 500 people at the club.
Club promotions, we're talking Scottsdale.
Yeah, Scottsdale, West Valley. I remember at the time I'm only like 20 years old, but I'm still, negotiating my way into clubs.
You're already hustling.
Yeah, I'm already hustling. I'm finding wild ways to create more opportunities for myself, right? Yeah. So after cashing out that first check, things are going good. I'm doing deals. I'm making the money. I'm burning it as fast as I'm making it. Then, because I'm half Jewish, right? My yarmulke started tilting, so I knew the market was going to shift. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know what to do.
Right.
So this around like 07, 08, right before 08 happened, started slowing down. So I told some of my guys who used to be on my street team, guys, hey, come over here. The market's going to shift. We'll start door knocking. And so I made my own door knocking team. About 5 guys. I started door knocking, knowing the market was going to shift. And I was absolutely right. '08, the market started collapsing, and that's when we really started going after pre-foreclosures and short sales.
Mm-hmm. So what were you doing with all the short sales?
So I should have known a wonderful man named Steve who was killing the short sale game back in the day, which I didn't. So I was giving a lot of my short sales to this guy, Dan Sharkin. It's been many years since I had talked with him, but I was feeding him a lot of my short sales, started doing a lot of loan modifications.
Yeah.
That was a bad idea.
That was a different time.
Yeah, different time, took a lot of time and effort, headaches all the way around.
So we were joking about this earlier, but you saw that I promoted, check out the babyface assassin of wholesale. You're telling me when you were up in San Francisco, what were people saying?
Yeah, so people walk up to me like, "Hey, are you Steph Curry?" Like, yeah, man, I'm Steph Curry. You know what? I need a donation. You got some houses to sell? So,
Just got to trim this up a little bit.
Just got to trim it up a little bit. Depends if he's injured, then he grows it out a little bit more,
Right. So how did you end up this niche? Because I had people say, for a while now, you got a burnt house. Call Elijah. How did you end up in that niche?
So how did I become the fire damage king?
Yeah.
So, this probably goes back about 4 years ago. So I'm doing a lot of, my father was a labor law lawyer. And so he worked with the National Labor Relations Law. And so I started telling him, "Hey, Dad, when you decide to be done with this, become a probate attorney. Like we're Jewish. We don't retire our knowledge. Like, let's leverage the knowledge." So he's like, "Okay, so let me think about it." So I knew I had to learn more about probate deals. Mm-hmm. So I started talking to more probate attorneys about opportunities. Well, I started realizing those probate deals were sitting vacant. And then so I started doing a lot more city violations, where those city violations were probate, but a lot of those end up on fire because houses sit vacant for a while. People go in there, cook up their meth, cook up whatever they're cooking in there, and the house would catch on fire. So I'm asking, I started looking around, like, who buys these things? And nobody was buying these. So the yarmulke started tilting again. I'm like, I got a lane here with not a lot of people in there. So I got with a couple claim adjusters. I got with a couple of restoration companies, started picking their brains and started understanding that when a fire happens, you got so many people come out to these houses. You got the board up people, you got the fencing people, you got the restoration people, you got the demolition people, then you got the firefighters, your insurance people. These people are shell shocked. That's like one of the worst tragedy a family can happen. And you got 9 people hawking on them. Well, I realized there's no one person that's kind of organizing all these pieces. These are all different vendors. People come together. So I started realizing that I could go after these properties. Not only can I buy the property, but I can help add value to the client by not only getting them all the resources and tell them who these people are and use my referred people, but I found out that there's insurance money part of it. And insurance money, that's part of the secret sauce, because the insurance companies only give them a fraction of what's really owed to them. I could go back and get them additional money that was really owed to them on top of them keeping all that originally was paid to them. Plus, I'm able to get additional money that they didn't even know was going to be available to them, and give them part of for a profit share together with it.
So you're fighting on behalf of the homeowner against the insurance company.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm able to be a citizen's champ. I guess I get to be their Rocky Balboa, go round for round with insurance companies. And because a lot of times, 85% of the time, they're only getting 85% of the money that's owed to them. And if you look at a house that might be appraised for $100,000, if you look at that appraisal, the cost to build approach is $150,000. A homeowner doesn't know how a cost to build approach even works, or how does that play in their negotiations.
Right.
So they might give Mr. Smith only $80,000. I could go back in there like, hold on a second, you owe Mr. Smith $150,000. And if you saw during the '08, during the Great Collapse, AIG, they can't go under. They're too big to fail. So it's never the dollar amount that matters to insurance companies. It's only how long that claim stays open. And so once I realized that, my adjuster knows that, I bring my claim adjuster to the table. He keeps 50% of any new money he finds, and I get 50% of what he captures. If he doesn't get a red penny, they don't pay him a dime for his time, so it's no cost to the client. So he does a forensic audit. Mr. Smith, you're owed $80,000. Well, hey, you really owed $150,000. That additional $70,000 that's left off the table, we're gonna capture that for you. He goes and negotiate with the claim adjuster. Only 1 in 5 family members even uses a claim adjuster. So they realize, hey, we'll litigate this all year if we have to. Remember, if they have too many open claims, their insurance gets downgraded, and that's how they go out of business. So they'd rather just pay this, make it go away, and make it up on the other 4 suckers who are just gonna listen to whatever they say.
Or take whatever they want. Okay, so let's just say I am not in Phoenix, right? Because Elijah's the king of Phoenix.
Sure.
Stay out of
Nah,
Phoenix.
this is more than enough. There's abundance for all of us.
But let's just say I'm in Dallas.
Okay.
Right, and I want to be the fire guy in
Okay.
Dallas. What do I do?
So what you want to do, there's a couple different things. Now, different states have different policies with regards to insurance claims, and understand insurance money is a big piece of this. A lot of people don't know how to operate around there. However, just to go ahead and go after, one thing I would do if I was going to give somebody advice to start becoming the fire damage king in their state, right? What I did, because these aren't as easy lists to get as I could just go and get a pre-foreclosure list.
Yeah.
These are hard to get. Sometimes certain counties you might be able to get what's called incident reports. But even those, sometimes they blank out the address. They make it very difficult. Why I like this niche, because not everybody can just hop in.
Right.
So what I did is this. What I recommend everybody else there listen to, this is something easy to do. Costs a couple dollars to start with. But I learned this from my promotional years. People do business with people they like.
Right.
All right. So make yourself more likable. Well, when a guy takes a girl out to dinner, she likes him, right? Because you pay for dinner.
Yeah.
Same type of mindset. So I'll take 3 restoration company guys all to dinner all together at the same time.
Oh, okay.
3 board up guys all at the same time. 3 fencing guys all at the same time. Because at the end of the day, I don't see competition. We're all comrades servicing the same community. And so if you're already talking to my client for me. So because you already have the phone number, the address, you're already talking to you, they trust you and are already dealing with you. If they don't want your services, if they don't have the insurance to cover your services, or if they elect to go a different route, refer them to you. And if you end up buying the property, building a consulting fee for them and make it a win-win. And that's how I'll start right off the bat.
Okay. Anything else?
Another thing I would do in addition to that, there's also ways you're able to go and connect with some other private and public claim adjusters, because they are also talk to other people as well at the same time. Sometimes their insurance doesn't, they're going to know more on the insurance side. If the insurance doesn't plan out, there's going to be a motivated seller. And so if you can build a relationship with those people specifically, they're going to give you a good source of ongoing deals that you constantly come and you can go to adjusters. Basically, there's claim adjusters like board meetings, quarterly meetings, and just make relationships.
Right. And then there's a book that you wrote about firehouses.
Yes.
So
how to survive a fire damaged property. And so what that's more for, that's not really for all my real estate young gurus out there. It's not really for teaching you how to get into the niche.
No.
It's really kind of position me as an expert. So I give this to the homeowner.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you are okay with it, that's the blueprint.
Yo,
Take Elijah's book,
white label it.
change the content to what's applicable to your area.
Mm-hmm.
Give that to the homeowner.
100%.
You're the authority.
Exactly. Once you're able to get out in front of the homeowners, for sure. And you're more than welcome to reach out to me, and anything I ways I could be a blessing. I'll operate from the mindset of each one teach one. So if I could give the value and give the knowledge and they create opportunity, you generate some additional deals. Send me a testimonial letter, right? That's all I need, but for sure, because once they know that you're a voice of authority, and there's going to be very few people in this space that's going to tell them all the various pieces they could connect together, they're going to know you, they're going to like you, and they're going to refer other people to you.
Right. And I think the power of branding, of being the guy. I mean, we can't talk about anything. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's more niche than firehouses.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a fiery proposition.
Yeah. So I still think you should go with what I was talking about earlier about the King of Crisp. But,
King of Crisp, all right, keep it crispy.
So the other thing is we were talking about, the testimonials and the giving back. You put out there in the universe, I want to have a big deal in 2018.
Yes.
And then you just did it.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. So, we had being around some of the, some of the other titans in this industry. I mean, Arizona is a real estate guru capital. Here in Florida, we got a lot of them out here.
Right.
But then there's real players who are really doing it, like Carlos, like Sal, and Alex. I mean, the All-In family. They're really getting into numbers. They're doing numbers. And then there's this group called 7-Figure Flip Group. And we went to a mastermind, and just being around people who are getting numbers to that next level, it just makes you know that you're able to do it. Now, don't get me wrong, selling $250 million worth of real estate, doing 750 deals, I'm happy. I'm proud of it. No question about it. However, I more than willing did a third of the deals and make double the money. I don't want to work how hard I had to work to get those deals. So just seeing people knocking $200,000-$300,000 deals, knock them out at a time, I'm like, whoa, all right, what am I doing wrong here?
Right.
So I decided at the beginning of the year, like, all right, Elijah, you have the ability, you're uncanny closer, you're able to make relationships, you can find hard deals. let's use your skill set for bigger deals. You have to do at least one 6-figure deal this year and then beyond. So I started to get into land developments. I knew land developments was a big piece. I saw other investors that knock numbers out. I like the creative ways of structuring. I'm very creative thinking in deal structuring. So I decided, I reached out to a couple of my investors. I asked them, hey, who do you know who's really big in land developments? Well, I have this one guy, Jack Martin, used to be a big investor with Bakerson Investments out here. Big investor. He only does mobile home parks now. That's all he does. Doesn't touch any wholesaling. He blew up. So he's like, that little stuff we don't touch anymore. I'm like, cool.
No time for the small stuff.
Yeah, bring it here. I'll take those crumbs. Bring it over here.
Yeah.
So he ended up connecting with this engineer. And this engineer, John, him and I met at the beginning of the year. We went back and forth. So after talking for a while, I'm telling him, like, John, I'm a closer. Give me your hardest deal that you ever, like you had, that you know you have a guaranteed buyer for. I want you to have a builder for it, but give me the hardest deal that you can't close and let me work my skill set. So he's like, oh, I got one for you, Elijah. Here you go. So he tells me about this 10-acre deal off 11th Avenue in Southern. Mm-hmm. 10 years ago, he closed on a 10-acre deal and sold it to this builder. And so he's been chasing this deal for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. Now, he's saying it's a Chinese family that they won't negotiate. And every time they negotiate, it keeps going up and up. I'm like, hey, I'm half Jewish, so I'm used to hard negotiations, all right? So I'm fine for it. So I'm like, give me as much details as you have on it. We went back and forth. I got the phone number. I skip traced him. He's been calling this lady's work number. I got her cell phone number. Mm-hmm. So I ended up talking with her. I paid for a massage for her. I built relationships. I wanted to add value first. People do business with people they like. Right. So we talked about her accountant business. We talked for almost 3 months straight, me and her. Mm-hmm. Then she finally passed. She's like, all right, Elijah, I like you. We're willing to sell the property. We still haven't talked price. 3 months already. Building rapport with her. Then she connected me with her brother. Now there's 5 heirs now, so I had to talk to all the other family members. They wanted $1.2 million. We went back and forth. I finally got them down to $800,000. So I got him down to $800,000. I went to the engineer. The engineer, John, he went back and he looked at how many lots we could get, about 50 lots, subdivision out of it. We turned around, we sold it to one of his builders for $975,000, and so we made $98,000 on the deal. So $2,000 less than $100,000. But hey, I'm counting as my 6-figure deal.
It's not 6 figures. Why are we talking about?
Oh, you know what? But let me tell you why it wasn't. Because I took $3,000 on my side. That guy Jack Martin, who connected me with them, never said he wanted anything out of it. I took $3,000 out of my side, and I sent them a cashier's check for $3,000. Very cool. Use my appreciation, because if you invest those little seeds, that's one person he gave me. Right. Look how many more people you can send me if you just go above and beyond. So I would have made 101, but I only made 98 on that one.
Yeah, but because of that, I mean, you and I were talking about a deal. We were talking about a deal before we walked in here. Mm-hmm. You know, I got this piece of land. Well, it's a house, but pretty much land.
Sure. I saw some of the pictures.
Yeah, so, you know, because you're doing this, there's more opportunities.
Absolutely.
Arise as well.
Uh-huh.
And then we were talking about incredible follow-up. So we were talking about success story earlier. Talk about that one.
So follow-ups. Oh, man. And I think that's one of my two of my superpowers of my polite persistence, my critical thinking ability, and my follow-up game is mean. I mean, I'm talking about it because and for all you guys starting out there, this is a very good gem. Gem alert, all right? Be willing to take the L up front. When I say be willing to take the L up front, be willing to take the loss. Let other people say, oh, it's my fault. The phone hung up. You know what? Knowing that they hung up on me, I'll call them right back like, oh, I'm so sorry my phone hung up on me. I never would want you to think I'd be rude or disrespectful and just hang up on you like that. I have great upbringing, just like you. I apologize. Yeah. And so I'm willing to cover dinner first. I'm willing to buy whatever I need to take first L to let people know, like, hey, I'm willing to invest into a relationship first. So be willing to take the L. So if you're willing to take the L and you're going into every relationship, every opportunity, hey, if I have to cover it first, cool. I'm already know I'm going to do that. So in the follow-up side, what I end up doing, I had this lady, I had a guy from, he works with the city. He sends me referrals of people he's about to put city violation on because I've been doing these for so long. He's like, you buy all these, let me just start sending them to you. And we work out a small little relationship. Yeah. And so what he ended up doing, this lady, about 1.5 years ago, all right, she has a property. We go back and forth. We're talking about the property. I'm calling her like at least once every other week, talking about it. Then she's like, hey, I have a really bad pinched nerve. I'm going to be down for about 3 weeks. Call me back in 3 weeks, and we can talk about the property. Just like clockwork, I call back in 3 weeks. What's she do? She sells the property. I'm like, I've been calling you for 6 months, talking to you for 6 months. But you know what? It's my fault because I should have called you every 2 weeks, not every 3 weeks. Yes. So because I didn't do that, and you still have that pinched nerve, I sent her a massage, got her a massage at Massage Envy, and because of that, she's like, wow, you didn't get mad again, you didn't throw a hissy fit on me. She's like, okay, well, I have another property. I was a neighbor of this lady, and because we were neighbors for so long, she made me the personal representative of her estate. So she's like, she's willing to sell this one, but she's not ready yet. So I literally follow up once every 2 weeks for almost another year.
Wow.
So this is about a year now. So I know stories about her kids, or where she's traveling to, her arthritis. We know her shopping schedule. So after going through all this time, she finally, this about 2 months ago, she finally said, all right, Elijah, I'm willing to sell the property. So I ended up getting it for about $150,000 and turned around and sold it for $190,000. Just wholesaling it.
Follow-up.
The follow-up king. So during the nighttime, I'm the follow-up king. During the nighttime, I'm the fire damage king, and during the daytime, I'm the follow-up king.
Very nice. Very good. It's a good lesson for a lot of people trying to get into this business.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's really simple, but it's not easy.
It's not easy, and because it's so much, you have to either be organized, you have to be willing to make time for it, and you have to understand the value of, hey, even by making that phone call, that text message, even if you didn't talk to them, they're seeing your effort. Right. And it's kind of like planting the seed, the bamboo tree. You might have to water it for 5 years, but on that 5th year, within 9 weeks, it sprouts up 90 feet.
Right.
So it's just that mindset of just constantly watering it.
So knowing what you know today, would you do anything differently?
Yes and yes and yes. Don't get me wrong. I'm grateful for every experience learned, every loss I absorbed something from. However, two big pieces I for sure would give as far as advice to a younger me or to those out there. One, you don't need real estate partners. I had a lot of, I call it the homie management style. I had a bunch of homies who were cool with me. They didn't have skill set, they didn't have more knowledge, or they didn't have more relationships or critical thinking ability than me, but they were my friends. And because I'm making 6 figures a year, I'm like, well, hey, I figured out how when these scratchers, let's do them with me. Right. That didn't work. And if they don't have the right mindset, personality, you can partner up on deals, but don't partner up with people unless they have more knowledge, more relationships, or more skill set than you.
So it's like the MC Hammer business model.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't a broke. Right. So that piece for sure. And then the second piece I would definitely recommend is to make sure because I have Jewish side of me, I just did not want to invest in real estate. And so that's the reason why I'm 14 years in the business, not multi-milled out, because I just don't. First 5 years, I put $0 into marketing. $0 into marketing, $0 into mentorship. I wasn't gonna pay for it. If it wasn't free, I couldn't do it myself. Really? I wasn't doing it. And because of the way the market was, I was still making $200,000 a year. Who's telling me I'm doing something wrong?
Right.
But it's fool's gold, because if I invested into some relationships, if I went into an event like the way All In event is on September 21st and 22nd, if I went to events like this and learned real knowledge and real skill set and paid for mentors, I would have expedited my learning curve. So it took me a long time to learn one way, and then I was learning it the wrong way, and I was doing things the slow route. So invest in the marketing, invest in yourself, as you can get double the return. You just won't see it at first, but
right.
Or else you can spend 14 years and still on the come up.
Right. Who knows where you'd be today?
Yeah, for sure.
So if I were brand new and I was looking for a mentor, what would you tell me?
So what I would tell you, I would say I would write down all your skill sets. Write down one list of all your skill sets that you know that people told you your value. I like to call it your USP, your unique selling proposition.
Right.
Right when you walk in a room, what separates you from everybody? That just gives you your own skill set. Then I would write down everything you could possibly do for an investor. I'm talking about everything. Now, you might not, because you're starting out, you might not know all the other aspects, but think about what would you do for your cool uncle, or for that one person who you always wanted to hang out with. What would you do? Would you wash their car? Would you go drive and get cheesecake for them? Would you get their Starbucks coffee every morning? What can you do to add value first?
Yeah.
Find ways to add value first, because that's going to make you more valuable. And people like people like doing business with people they like. Yeah. Make yourself likable. Talk about things that they talk about. Find out what books they liked about, what podcasts. Send them articles, send them interview clips. Find a way to make yourself likable. And once you're able to do that, then they're going to find more inclined to give you the more knowledge, take you in on meetings, bring you on events. And that is hands down something I would start off if I'm brand new, want to get my mentor. That's going to put you in a winning position.
I love it. One of the things that I saw, it was in, I think, one of the groups, and the guy was like, I've been getting fired over and over again. Right. And that's what was going through my mind. It's like, this guy's not adding enough value. It's like, I'm overqualified. No, you're just over defensive.
Right. Exactly.
Right? You're not absorbing whatever they're telling you. They're telling you something. If they're not using words, then their actions are telling you something.
Yes, you better learn. Right. What's a good saying is that if you don't learn to humble yourself, life will do it for you.
Right.
Notice the signs.
Yeah. Okay, so you're doing these Facebook Live negotiations.
Yes. Facebook Live negotiations. I mean, it's definitely like the new technology because I'm 35, but I feel like I'm going on like 68. Because the real estate gives you those dog years. Dog years. And so shout out to Michael Powers, who worked. He's with my acquisition director with the Win LLC team, and Jennifer Coronado, my operation director. They're like, Elijah, we hear you make these calls. Like, what you say, these people are unbelievable. But I've been doing sales literally for over 20 years now. Literally, 20 years. And so what I do, it's natural. It's like, you go and shoot the shot, I'm shooting a shot, So like Steph Curry, he has that muscle memory.
Right.
Well, I started, so Michael's like, Elijah, can I just put one call on Facebook Live? Let's see what type of response we make. I'm like, all right. I mean, you just don't mention their whole name, right? Yeah. And the whole address. People start taking the deals. So I put one on Facebook Live, and I was talking with sellers and just seeing them hang up on me, but I take the next call and seeing the interaction of everybody was like, whoa, I can't believe you said that. Whoa, you hung up and you took another phone call. You don't have to go smoke a cigarette, bro? So it made it where I'm humanizing this. It's not, because you see these people on Instagram hopping out the jet, hopping out the Maserati, just picked up a bag, closed 4 deals. Well, yeah, that's cool, but how am I going to get to that? This shows you, hey, you can make a phone call, next call, on to next call, put on my little hip-hop instrumentals in the background. I set my own vibe. I'm having a good time. I'm laughing. I don't take it too personal. I'm on to the next one. I'm making relationships every day. Yeah. And then I'm able to kind of do something like what one of our mentors, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip-hop preacher, he does his Thank God It's Mondays. Well, I'm able to give my good word of the day from Brother Elijah, and I give them like a little gem, a little tidbit that they're able to add value to them. Yeah. Then I do my pre-call affirmations just so they can understand. Every time I get on the phone, I do my pre-call affirmation, and that's why I'm getting people to answer the phones, getting people locked in. And don't get me wrong, I went like 20 episodes, like no deals. I mean, people are hanging up on me. You piece of crap, how dare you make this lowball offer? But I think people like to see, am I going to get conquered or I'm going to create? Right. And so they like, and seeing that happen every day. And then I finally got one deal, and we knocked out $27,000 on that one deal. And so we have everybody go to watch my Elijah I. Rubin page. They get notified of the call. Well, if people are like, well, how can I connect with you more? I'm like, well, go to my Consistently Closing Facebook, my close group. And by so we went from like 200 people in the Consistently Closing group. As soon as I closed that $27,000 deal, and like 2,000 people go to Consistently Closing. They're locking in, and now we have people from all types of industry, not just only real estate. We got insurance guys, we got diamond jewelers, auto insurance guys, people, because closing's closing. And at the end of the day, it's a transfer of enthusiasm and being able to go from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. And I'm like a walking result that if I could do it, so can they.
Well, another thing, too, is I think a lot of people look at the successes, and we want to celebrate the successes and the checks, and that's cool, right? I mean, that's not a bad thing. But people want the success without the pain.
Right. It's possible.
So you're capturing the 95% that sucks.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what they need to see. If they're going to try to blow up, they're going to try to get your success, they got to also copy your pain.
Right. You have to be able to go through pain. And that's, I think, what's so hard right now, especially with the Instagram world and the Facebook world. I mean, a lot of this generation, they want that microwave success. Bing! Is it ready? Like, nah, I ain't ready, man. I'm cooking this up 14 years. I'm still cooking up. And just understanding that from every call, I'm learning. For every relationship, I'm learning. And finding ways to correct and continue. But understand you have to go through as many no's to get to yes. Right. And if you're struggling with taking no's, start putting a dollar amount to every no you take. And then that no's worth X amount of dollars. So you know, hey, I gotta get to 13 more no's so I can make 20,000. Right. And so I think you shift that knowledge. But them seeing me taking the phone calls, getting beat down, and still taking on the next call, still waking up the next call is no issue. I think that's a key piece to see that if I could do it, they could do it too. Right.
So what would be? We were talking about the mentor, but again, you're starting brand new. What are some things you would do today if you're starting brand new?
Some things I do today if I'm starting brand new. Great question. What I would start, I would definitely go to all the meetups. I'll look up meetup.com. I'll go to whatever local RIAs you're into. Biggerpockets.com has a lot of resources to meet with other people, because the 3 things I feel like, especially starting out, you can never have enough of. And it's across the board in any industry, but specifically in real estate pays you the most. You can never have enough knowledge, you can never have enough relationships, and you can never have enough critical thinking ability. Yeah. And the more of those 3 you have, the more you make. So to start that out, I'll spend at least, I like to call blocks of time. I'll spend at least 5 hours a week, blocks of time, maybe an hour a day of just learning. Because the more you know, the more you grow. So I'll be learning. I'll learn the jargon. I'll learn how contracts work. I'll read other posts and how other people do marketing. And then I'll go to networking events and make sure I collect as many cards as I want. And I'll set a goal of I at least want to collect at least 10 business cards. Because how many cards you pass out, nobody's following up with you, all right? You just started, all right? But you want to capture their cards because now the ball's in your court. Now you can follow up that polite persistence, all right? Send a phone call, send a text message, slide dial them if you have to. Do whatever you got to do, get in front of them. And then the next part, and this is a key part, take action. I call it the 1/3, 2/3 formula. 1/3 at a time, you need to be learning. It's important to learn because if you don't know what to do. However, 2/3 of the time, you better be doing because you're going to learn more from you doing than you ever do from just reading a book. And so what can you do, especially if you're on that Jewish-friendly budget, you don't want to spend too much dollars, you don't know what you're doing out there. So what you want to do, I'll do what I call I have, I want sessions. So I'll take those cards and I do, I have this still, I want this. What do you have? What do you want? Then I'll make sure one player, every Friday, take one player out to coffee. You can afford a coffee. Don't do lunch. You can't. You got to graduate to lunch. Right? Do a coffee. That's $3-4. You drink a water, pay for the coffee, and pick their brain. Have your questions pre-planned. Don't freestyle and bumble. Have your questions pre-planned so they know that you respect their time. That you mean business. That you're serious about yourself and you value their time. Then spend a set block of time out there driving for dollars. Drive for dollars. See what opportunities you could bring to the table, and then do another thing which is called Craigslist hunting. Craigslist hunting, and people think it's still dead and because of how saturated it is, but Craigslist hunting will allow you to take keywords. You take a less of 15 keywords, must sell, fire damage, anything that motivated sellers, and then you type those in there and you look at those 2 times a day. Then your goal is to get a thesaurus, and now you want to come up with 50 words to say those same words in a different way. I bought 2 houses, one house for $5,000 on Craigslist. I own another house I bought for $5,000 on 3rd Street and Camelback.
Wow.
For $5,000, not rims, a house that I rent out to this day still. And I'm walking with my acquisition director because I want him to create more self opportunities just outside what our VAs are providing. And so I'm like, let me see. It's been a couple years since I Craigslist hunt. I spent 1 hour, Steve. 1 hour. I found of one seller had 2 lots that we have locked up right now in escrow. Nice. So it works in this market now. Still works. So those are the 3 things I would recommend. Like I said, build your knowledge, go to events, and have meetings with the relationships and create opportunities via Drive for Dollars and Craigslist hunting.
Those are some huge gems. So you're passionate. That much is obvious. So this question is going to be a little weird. What are you passionate about? Because it seems like everything.
Well, I'm really passionate about empowering others around me. I'm into impact over just income. I was talking a little bit about one of our mentors, E.T., the hip hop preacher, and he's the closest thing I feel like to Martin Luther King we have of our time and current presence. I remember about 4 years ago, I went to one event and we're in the VIP back room, and he's standing across the room, and some lady came up and they're talking. And so she gave him a hug, but before she got, she started to cry, but not like, oh, it's Justin Bieber's here, I'm crying, oh my God, he's famous. No. She started crying, he hugged and embraced, and it was, I don't know what they talked about, but you just saw some type of breakthrough, some type of, I don't know, he said some family member, or he helped her relationship happen, something personal breakthrough happened, but it's the language of the heart. You just became heart currency. I'm like, that's the impact. That's what Gandhi had. That's what Martin Luther King had. That's what Jesus had. These are the impact you can live on that's going to establish a legend, makes you legendary. And I understand it's possible to be that way if you are more interested in impact than just income. So when I see the light flick on in other people's eyes and they see that, whoa, I could do more with my life, I could have more, and operate from that mindset of abundance and tricks on, I don't think there's much in life more than that piece right there I love for sure. I can never get old of that.
Are you trying to emulate that?
Yeah, so I think through the Young Millionaire Society platform, it's my wealth creation platform where I'm able to help people from all walks of life find the real path, find the real purpose, and help them keep that light path. Keep that light on their path for them. And so I like to be able to help them do real estate, be able to say, hey, this is another alternative. It's just an ends to your means. I love real estate, but by the time I'm 55, I want to own my own island. I want to have my own underwater city. I want my own cloaking device. Well, for me to do something like this with big audacious goal, I have to help impact a lot of people. So real estate is just a platform I'm using so I can make a bigger impact and help and inspire and empower a lot more people.
So can I have a house on that island?
Oh man, we're building a tabernacle in your name, all right? You know what I'm saying? We got a floating castle, we got segways to get you from wing to wing. So we got you. You're covered, all right?
So your relationship with the hip hop preacher, like how's that impacted you?
So E.T. the hip hop preacher, Dr. Eric Thomas, that's been one of the biggest, I'll say, transformations in my life because, and it shaped laws of attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, because, doing the club promotion world, I did everything else like society tells you. The more girls you get, the more cooler you're going to be. The more times you're out there, the drunker you can get, the better life is going to be for you. And I experienced all that world, and I saw where it got me. It got me DUIs. It got me in substanceless relationships. It put me in a position where I was still empty inside, and I didn't know what to go to and what to chase. So then when I saw E.T. the hip hop preacher, you have to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. I'm like, man, this guy he's sincere, has a lot of substance without jeopardizing his swag. I'm like, that's perfect. Oh man, I love this group. But I didn't ever think he would come out to Arizona. I didn't think that was ever happen. Well, there's a big real estate guru in town, and he happened to be bringing him in town, and I happened to know him over the years. So he kind of took a little real estate deal from me. Not take it, but in my yarmulke tilt, we were both working on trying to go after the same seller. It didn't work out. So I called him up. I'm like, hey, it didn't feel right. So can you do a personal introduction for me for ET and take me out to lunch? We call it Water Underneath the Bridge. It's like, cool, come on up. So he makes a personal introduction for me. I end up talking with his business partner, who's 32, young dude, and this is the first time I ever paid for any type of speaker consulting, any type of consulting of any sort. Remember I told you when I promised at the beginning, I just don't like at that time. I didn't like investing in myself. Well, so this is the first person I did, and having him in my circle, seeing how he operates. I mean, him waking up at 3 a.m., him giving the 11th push-up mentality. He's a multi-millionaire. Irons his wife's clothes still at this time before he leaves. He irons his wife's clothes. When people just stopping and just say, hey, E.T., what you did for me in this world. I'll tell you one quick story, and this is the type of impact he had. He has a building in Michigan. He calls me up. He's like, Elijah, I have this building. I need your help. I'm like, I'm just a Trinidadian Jewish boy in Arizona. You're calling me you need my help? Like, whatever it is, yes, whatever it is. And he's like, well, I'm going to buy this building, 13 acres, 30,000 square feet. They want $1.1 million for it, and I want to turn it to one of my churches. So he goes to Chase, tries to get it as a church. Well, they don't offer, Chase doesn't, exactly. They want to foreclose on God, right? Yeah. So they don't go to the church. So he's like, Elijah, what can I do? So he ends up talking with the doctors. The doctors, all right, so there's about 5 doctors. One of the doctors' daughters was addicted to opiates, Oxycontin. It's really bad. Well, just from her watching E.T.'s videos, she never met E.T. Just from watching his videos, she overcame the opiate addiction, got clean, and changed her whole life. So once the doctor found out that E.T. was buying it, they went from asking 1.1, they sold it to him for $600,000. Took a 50% discount because the impact and the work he put in years earlier. Yeah. So long story short, he had $300,000 to put down. He came to me. I was able to get my dad to do a self-directed IRA and had my dad fund the deal. So now, I funded this dude's house where he went from living in buildings, eating out trash cans. Now he owns his own building, doing his own charter school, having his own church out of there. So
very cool.
So my life got a lot better having somebody like that in my circle, for sure.
And if you guys have not watched this YouTube, go to YouTube, do a search for Eric Thomas, E.T. Hip Hop Preacher, and you want to be rich as much as you want to breathe. That's a powerful video. Yeah,
no, for sure. That one right there. I think I forgot the name of the guy who did it. But I think it's you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. Went like 30 million hits around the world, and that one made him viral, and that's what kind of put him on the world scene.
Yep. All right. So what does your organization look like today?
So my organization, as of right now, I have my operations director, Jennifer, that she's kind of helping overall operations and make sure that she's my integrator. If you guys haven't read the book Traction, get the book Traction. I'm telling you, I slept on it many, many years. I had it for 4 years. I finally started to implement it like a year ago. So she's my integrated operation director. I got Mike, who's my acquisition director, so he handles a lot of the VAs. We have 4 VAs in the Philippines making phone calls. We have 3 VAs on the marketing admin side to help out Jennifer. And we negotiated with my nanny to make sure that we buy my office admin support too. So we have a multi-pronged approach there. So
very nice. So you got acquisition guys. How many acquisition guys?
So we have 4 acquisition front-end callers and 1 acquisition director.
Okay, and these are the ones in the Philippines?
Yeah.
Okay, how about dispositions?
So dispositions, Jennifer right now is doing both operation director and some of that, but I'm handling most of the disposition. Most people know me and call me Elijah. Can I get the deal? All right, can you negotiate that a little bit more for me? So I work with them.
So I've got a deal. I'm talking to a seller and I can't close it. I call you. This is what's happening right now?
So right now, if you have a deal and on the seller side, all right, so when you say disposition, I'm thinking when you resell the property.
Yeah.
All right, so exactly. So all right, so if you have a deal and you called me as a regular seller, and are you saying as a seller you called me?
I'm talking about as a wholesaler because I was trying to understand.
Negotiate. Yes, exactly. All right. So if you're a wholesaler, you have a buyer who's going to sell one of our properties, and so yes, you would call me, Elijah. Hey, can I get this for? Do you have anything built in there for me? A lot of reason why a lot of wholesalers like to move my deals. I usually build in a $3,000 to $5,000 consulting fee within my price. So because I remember when I was wholesaling, mark it up. Well, bro, if I mark it up there and they Google it, they see I marked it up $3,000. I'm not going to get another call from this guy. So I always built in fees within my price for other wholesalers.
I like the way you work. Because I had the same problem too.
See?
Yeah. Okay. So, what states are you in?
So right now, I mainly do Arizona and California. Those are like the main 2 states I stay in. However, I'm going to be ramping up going to Chicago. I got through ET have a really big investor in Chicago who's buying a lot of property, buying holds. So I'm going to be in Chicago, do a little bit of Texas, but most of our investors are really knocking out a lot of the Southwest right now. Yeah. So.
And then top lead sources. I mean, we talked a little bit about some of your referral partners. Do you have any other lead sources?
Yes. So I do some, obviously, probate attorneys are good sources if you could build some relationships. And then my father became official probate attorney. So I go with him to network and invest, show him, hey, how to work a room, make sure you collect as many business cards. And then we go through, you have Property Radar, you have List Source, you can do. I organically create my own city violation list. By pulling them from county recorder's office along with the probate list as well. We use a Driving for Dollars link. Shout out to Sal and Carlos. I had to swagger jack a little bit from them about just marketing, letting other people know, hey, you want to be affiliate, Driving for Dollars, put these on there. And once I did that, we have over 250 leads. That just came in just for people sending opportunities. So that's a great way to create opportunities when people know that you could close deals.
So how does that work? So I'm driving around and I see this house, dumpy. Right, garage is kind of sitting a little funny.
Yep.
Right, and I just text you the address.
So what we do is, so if you see a jalopy property out there, we actually take a picture of the property, and then there's a link. So if you call, you reach out to me, we'll send you a link. You click on the link, you type in address, you type in your phone number, any notes you want to, automatically gets added to our list. And if you buy the property, we work in a consulting fee for you on every property we buy.
And what's that?
So it's anywhere from between $500 to $5,000, depending on what the profit margin is.
Wow, that's really generous.
And you take care of people who take care of you. That's how you water the seeds.
That's true. Any interesting war stories?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because Alex and I are working on something. I definitely want to talk to you about it too. We're going to be doing these deals over drinks. We're going to have a couple of drinks just talking about our crazy deals and lessons we learned from, because 750 deals, and I close 89% of those, that's sellers. I'm going to sign signature, so I got all types of crazy deals. But just to give you guys one of them, I'll tell you one I just closed too. So this deal is on 7th Avenue and Magnolia. So that's going to be just north of Broadway, south of the I-10 freeway. Pretty rough, pretty hood, all right? Hood or us. Hey, the hood's been good to me. I buy a lot of rough properties over there. That's why I did 750 of them, right?
Just keep driving.
Just keep driving, keep passing it. But my model is I'll buy a house in Haiti at the right dollar amount. I don't mind my money living there because I'm not living there. But so this is a city violation lead. I got a hold of him, talked with the seller. He's a pastor. All right, so he's a pastor. And so I go and talk with him. The guy's 70 years old, but he's tall, pretty active. So I go to the house, and there's I'm not going to call them crackheads, but the crackish. All right, so
symptoms.
The symptoms, not all the teeth there, but they're in the house. They keep an eye on the house, not quite tense, but keep an eye on the house. Yeah. So we're in the house and we're talking, and so I park in front of the house, and the gentleman, there's a big sign "Mother effers don't park here." Well, I'm thinking that's not a real sign. I mean, come on, who's gonna that's not statutes, you know what I'm saying? And I'm on the street. I'm not in your parking lot. Right. I'm on the street. So me and the pastor are talking, and one of the roommates come and say, hey, the neighbor's tripping. You might want to move your car. I'm like, and the pastor's like, no, you'll move your car when we're done talking. And I'm like, you're what the pastor said. We're moving when it's done. So we end up, so we're done talking. We negotiate the price. I go outside, and so this guy has a tow yard next door. So he has my car boxed in. So he has one tow truck on one side and another truck on the other side. So I can't get out. So obviously he wants to talk. I can't move my car. So I go and knock on it. So I'm going to go and walk over and knock on the door. And this Latino gentleman comes out. He's like, hey, homie, you don't read that sign over there? You can't read? I'm like, hey, take it easy. I can read, but I didn't think that was a real sign. No, that's a real sign. I need you to move your car. I'm like, hey, you're a businessman. I'm a businessman. I see that you got a business. I'm here trying to buy a house, and I might be your neighbor here. Now, I know that you don't want us to park there. I see what I can do to help out. Well, see, you guys are like, listen, over there, they're dealing drugs. They're doing everything over there. I'm like, the pastor? Are you sure the pastor's dealing drugs? I don't care what he's doing over there. So now at this time, Pastor Felton walks out. So he walks out, and he's like, is he messing you with you? I'm like, relax, Pastor. It's okay. Yeah. He ends up walking over, and he's like, he hit your car. I'm like, he didn't hit the car. That's not my nice car. This is the drive around car. It's cool. Mm-hmm. He ends up getting mad. He's like, that's not right. You shouldn't hit his car. And so now the Latino man is just screaming out like, shut the hell up. Old man's cursing at him like, I'll whoop you ass right now. I'm like, whoa, take it easy. So the pastor comes around, and so I turn around talking to this guy. Next time I turn around, I look and see the pastor. The pastor has a big old 4x4 in his hand about to whack the guy. So next thing you know, I tell the pastor, like, whoa, hold on a second. So the Mexican dude pulls out a knife, like, come on, homie, I'll gut you right here. I'll gut you like a fish. I'm like, I do real estate. What am I doing? This is not what I signed up for. So now the neighbors are coming out. With with their phones like World Star, trying to World Star it. And so
everybody loves World Star.
Everybody loves World Star. So I'm like, I'm not gonna get caught, but I don't want to turn my back on him. He has the knife out. Yeah. And so I look past her in the face. I'm like, listen, I'm about to pay you 6 figures for your house right now. Don't argue with fools, because from a distance people can't tell the difference. So listen, you have people who depend on you. Yeah. I need you to walk away. So I looked in his eye, and he finally downgraded. Mustafa, calm down. And he ended up walking away, and I ended up talking to the guy, and it's crazy. The guy asked me if he could buy the building for me like 3 weeks later, but like, no, I'm not selling the property. Out to gut me and gut this guy. So we ended up buying the property for $90,000, sold it for $112,000, but almost got stabbed and hit by a 4x4.
Cost of doing business.
Exactly. Just cost of doing business. Another day in the life.
So what is your biggest struggle right now?
Biggest struggle right now, I think it's for a lot of us too. I think our programming gets in our way a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, how we were raised, how we were thought, what we think is okay. What got you here isn't going to get you there. Yeah. So what got me to this level, I'm thrilled, I'm happy for. I still do things a lot of old school route. Mm-hmm. I won't listen fully to what my integrator says. I'm giving my integrator authority to fire me as being a visionary and fire me, because I'm essentially, my first responsibility is the owner of the company. And first owner of the company, rule number 1, make a profit. Yeah. So if I'm not making profit, if I'm not doing all the things I need to do, I have to trust my integrator and follow the process. Like ET says, trust the process, don't rush the process. Mm-hmm. And I find myself always reverting back. I'll go back to sticky notes. I was a sticky note king for a little while, and I'll write down sticky notes, but like, no, you can't do that, because if I lose the sticky notes, then how can I transfer this note to somebody else? How can I pass the lead? How do I find that information? And so I see myself reverting back to that sometimes. So that's something I got to tighten up.
And what is your superpower?
My superpower, for sure, like I said, I think my negotiating abilities, I think my critical thinking abilities. I'm very creative. I think outside the box. I hear problems, but I see solutions. Mm-hmm. And then I think I have the ability to connect and relate with almost anybody from all walks of life.
So all the expensive skills. That's great.
Try to.
What's the greatest lesson you've learned?
One of the greatest lessons I've learned. That's a good question. One of the greatest lessons I learned is to stop playing small. Mm-hmm. I played small because, I mean, from what society tells you, from your background, like, I'm doing the properties in the hood. Like, are you sure you're going to do these nicer houses? Are you sure you can do California? And so I just, earlier this year, I did the first $100,000 deal. I didn't make $100,000, but I did a $100,000 deal in California. Got out my own fear, got out my own programming, and was able to buy the house for like $400,000 in California. Turned out sold it for $500,000, but I split it 3 ways. So be very intentional with what you ask the universe for. I said I want to do a 6-figure deal. No, I want to keep 6-figure from a deal, not just make it, right? But
it's like a genie out there.
Yeah, just rub that genie and be very clear what you want. It's going to give you what you want, but just don't play small. Don't let your preconceived notions of who you thought you were control who you currently are.
Yeah, that's powerful. So what is your favorite, best, or most interesting failure?
My favorite or most interesting failure. I think my favorite, most interesting failure would probably be when I was I got several. I got several of them. I'll go with this one. I'm 5 years old. All right. And my sister and I would take rocks in my mom's. We'll take rocks around the neighborhood. We'll take my mom's nail polish, and we'll paint on the rocks. All right, and then we'll go and we'll sell the rocks for $1 to $3 to neighbors, and my sister would manage it, help collect the rocks, and I'll go and sell them. And so even at 5 years old, I was selling rocks at 5. No, but those are legal rocks. Yeah. And so the biggest lesson I learned is to negotiate your terms up front.
Yeah.
Because she would pay me in candy and kept the money. So I didn't know. And give me the cash. I don't want the candy. Don't pay me Kit Kats. Give me the cash. So that's one of the first things I learned at 5 years old. Know your negotiation terms up front.
Clarify, document.
Yes, document, clarify, and make sure you have a sworn agreement. No head nod contracts.
All right. And then what book have you given more than any other book?
Oh, I've really been heavy on giving out traction to a lot of people, but hands down, before you get to traction, I think you have to have the mindset, because you can learn all this stuff, but if you don't have the mindset, it'll fall off. And I made easily $25,000 the second time I read it and applied it. Same year, and it's called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
Yeah.
Because it just gives you understanding how programming works. Your programming controls your thoughts control your feelings control your action control your results define your legacy. If you don't like your results, your legacy, you can re-engineer it and change it like a dial. You can change your programming. And once I saw you could do that, it felt so empowering. And then once you see it happen and you see other people around it, wow, it starts changing things around you.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. And then I would just add on to that too. The traction. My coach told me to read it 2 years ago, and I did. I read it.
Oh, you did.
And I did absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine recommended I read Rocket Fuel.
Yep, I read that one.
So I read Rocket Fuel. I was like, oh, this is the same guys as Traction. Let me read Traction again. It's like, oh my God, how many things did I screw up by not doing these things?
For sure. But understanding the value of so you're a visionary?
Yeah.
But you need an integrator to help implement a lot of these stuff. And I had the wrong people in the wrong seats and go in the wrong direction. But because you make $200,000-300,000 in this society, you're doing fine. Who could tell you anything?
Right.
So make your adjustments.
And I think the other thing too is it helps your integrators deal with you.
Yes.
Because you and I are screwed up.
Flawed tremendously.
Yeah.
And we have the squirrel looking around all different objects. And if you do that whiplash, that the whole team has to be able to move, and being able to trust your integrator to implement your vision and to fire you if need be. Right. I think that is a very big revelation. Like, whoa, okay, I gotta follow. Because if you're the main cog in your wheel, you're the main clog in your wheel. And
true.
And they're gonna make you move. They're gonna remove you from it.
Yeah.
I like that.
So who would you like to see on the show next?
Who would I like to see on the show next? You guys had some pretty solid people on here. I think his name is Chris Ortaveras. He's in entrepreneur organization, the Accelerator program with me. He's a realtor, he's a builder, and he's an investor. And he's starting to do bigger projects. And I was just talking to him about you as I was talking about like things we were doing, about your networking event you did. So Chris Ortaveras is a solid person. I'll be more than grateful to make a connection for you.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that. All right, so we talked about a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and items of value that you can definitely give to our listeners. How would they get a hold of you?
You could get a hold of me. There's a couple different ways. One way, you could go online. Elijah I. Rubin is my fan page. And by clicking on that, you'll be notified when I make my Facebook Live calls. And once I get to 100 episodes, I'm going to do them randomly because it takes a lot to do them every Monday and Wednesdays at 5:30. They could go to my Consistently Closing group, Consistently Closing on Facebook. And then you guys can reach out to me via email, which is Elijah@win, WIIN, LLC. That's Elijah@win, WIIN, LLC.com. And that's the best way you're able to kind of connect with me.
Awesome. And again, guys, if you like the show, please share this episode right now. And please join me next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Chris Mayfield thinks it'd be a good idea to interview me. So I'm going to be the subject next week.
Yeah.
So don't forget to check it out. And then also visit the website, realestatedisruptors.com, to find out more about our upcoming events. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you, sir.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Salute.